Okay, good afternoon all. Hope everyone is well. Karina, good morning to you. Or good afternoon to you, I should say. So, sorry I couldn't trade. Yesterday I had a dentist appointment, which I kind of had last minute. Hope everyone's had a great Christmas. Yeah, Happy New Year to you. Speedy, how you doing, buddy? New Year's Eve tomorrow, so I hope everyone's got some plans. I'll be going out with my wife. My daughter is away at a boyfriend, so it'll be me, my wife, and some friends. So what are we looking at now? It's pretty low volume. Whether this is just the way it is at the moment or whether this volume is partly because we're kind of still in that Christmas period where obviously a lot of people are probably doing family things and stuff like that, or whether it'll pick up. So market is open. Let's see how we get on. So yeah, sorry I didn't trade yesterday. I had a dentist appointment, lost a piece of a filling just before Christmas, and that was the earliest appointment I could get. So there's not much we can really do at the moment. It's just chop it up and down. Hopefully, I may do a shorter stream today. I was going to pop out possibly and grab myself a new shirt for tomorrow night, but we'll see. We'll see how we get on. If things pick up, then we'll stay a bit longer. We'll try it for an hour anyway and see what happens. But if it continues slow like this, we may knock on the edge. We'll see anyway. So we got some FOMC news coming out later. 7 o'clock will be well done by then. So bookmap at the moment, orders above, orders below. It's hard to say. Daryl, how you doing, buddy? Orders above, orders below. Not much you can really do at the moment. We've had a couple of bounces here. This may push up to here, clear some of this liquidity. Little Hammer, how you doing, buddy? But we've got, what day are we today? It's Tuesday. Just just looking. Okay, so the first is Thursday. So Friday is the 2nd. So I'll be trading on Friday after today. I'll see what happens tomorrow. In fact, I'll probably set the stream tomorrow, but I'll probably finish early. We'll see. It may be quiet anyway. Obviously, New Year's Eve, there's going to be a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of people obviously making plans for New Year. So I will start the stream tomorrow and we'll see how we get on. Obviously, January the 1st, we'll leave that. January the 2nd is a Friday. So I'll trade on the Friday, but I'm guessing there's probably going to be a lot of people with a lot of headaches. So how busy it is, I don't know. But the main day we'll be back is Monday the 5th, which is my sister's birthday, actually. It reminds me to send her a card. So let's see how we get on anyway. So nothing much is happening at the moment. I am looking at the CL chart as well. I was looking at a possible failure here. We've had a channel with a break, 2 pushes to a new high. So I was looking for possibly a second entry long here to trigger and give us a long failure, but it did continue up. So who knows where that's going, whether it's going to continue up or whether it's going to top off here. Who knows? So I'm keeping an eye on that. If I do take a trade on that, I'll bring it in. But at the moment, we're not doing really much. There are orders around the 54 area, which is about that. They're a bit vague. There's not a huge amount, and there are some down at 48, which is there. So we've got orders above, orders below, and that's why we're kind of getting this range within a bigger range. So it's pretty tight. It's just, you can't really trade this stuff, to be honest with you. You can get chopped up. So it's bouncing really between this area and this area. So it's not many points really to do much with. I go for 3 points. It's about 6 points, just under 6 points top and bottom. So it's a bit too tight to trade really there. And you never quite know whether it's going to decide. At the moment, see, we got the sort of overnight highs here, overnight lows here. every bit of price action is been between these two levels, so you never quite know when it's going to take out overnight highs or overnight lows. So trading it at this level is a bit hard. There is kind of a possible triple test here, but that concerns me. There are sellers. If you look on Bookmap here, just below 50. So there are sellers about there. So if this bar triggers, I'll be inclined to leave this anyway. You can see those orders. There's quite a few around this area. So although it does look like a possible triple test, just too risky to trade this, I think. Certainly for me. Let's see if it triggers. You never know. It may work and it may go up at the moment, but it's just a little bit too risky, I think. It's not super clear. So there were orders there, which they did pick up some of them. Trouble is this, if you look on Bookmap, these orders can swap and change so quick, you've got to kind of keep an eye on it. But there are quite a few orders in and around that 50 level, so I'll be inclined to leave this. It'd be interesting to see what happens if that bull bar triggers. It hasn't done as of yet. Now, you may argue it's a triple test, but it just doesn't look great to me. It's a bit choppy. See if this order triggers. It has done. Okay. Still for me, I'm just doing nothing at the moment because, as I say, there are orders around there, so it may well trigger, which it has, and just come down. So yeah. So just clearly too risky. I had my suspicions that it was going to do that. There's going to be traders thinking, here we got triple test bull bar. Let's jump in here, but you do get to spot after a while. When you get a bit of more experience, you do get to spot these areas that look a little bit risky. And having that addition of Bookmap there, just showing me there are orders around here, you've just got to be so careful. It's quite trappy at the moment. So we've got kind of two legs, and we've got a good strong bull bar there, but it triggers and just messes around and comes down, stops that out. So when it's just weaving up and down, you just got to really stay out of it. Monday is better. Come back, chill now. Yeah. As I say, I'm just going to we'll give it sort of half hour, 45 minutes and see if it does anything. You never know if it gets out of this little bit of a range, stroke congestion, it may go somewhere. You can see there are strong buyers down there at 42, which is below everywhere. So there may be buyers thinking, let me have a look, what's the overall? So we've had this big move up, and then we've kind of spent a day going sideways, and then we've had a couple of legs back, a couple of legs up. So at the moment, I really got no idea. This isn't really showing me much. We got cut. You could argue there's a leg down. We may come down and test this area, but it's just a may. We just as well go up and clear out maybe some of the top, some of the liquidity up here and push up. It's not really telling me much at the moment. Let me just add some days to that. 10 days to load. Why have we not got... it's Christmas, isn't it, of course? Let's leave that. Yeah, so it's not really giving us much, is it? Yesterday was really... We had that little move down, but then we really just kind of went sideways, didn't we? So maybe it'll come down here and take out yesterday's lows, or maybe it'll push up and clear some of this. There's probably likely going to be some stops above there, but at the moment it's just chipping up and down sideways. There's nothing much you can do with this. Yeah, but the 5th will be better, which is, it's in a week today, is it? It's Tuesday, is it a week today? I think, yeah, it is. So a week today will be the main day where you'll get more institutional traders back at work. I suppose a lot of them take Christmas off, don't they? Christmas and New Year. Obviously, it's Thursday the 1st. Uh, so there's quite likely going to be a lot of people suffering on the first. So whether they come back on Friday or just start back on the Monday, but I'm guessing it's going to be pretty quiet up until January the 5th. We'll see. So I over Christmas, Vladdy put some videos out on his Discord. Uh, that he's done some stuff with Mac. So what he'd done is he sent his chart to Mac, and Mac had kind of read through it. Now I got this impression this was quite a long time ago, but it was 2002, 2003. So he was still kind of learning Pats then. I had the impression this was maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago. I didn't realize it was relatively recent. Uh, Now, I'm not sure why we're getting this news pop up at the moment because, as I'm aware, we've got no news today apart from FOMC, so I don't know why I'm getting that bleep. But yeah, I was under the impression that it was a long time ago. Who knows? Yes, going to be horrible this week. Depending on time. Yeah, pretty much it is, isn't it? Really. I mean, it's New Year's Eve today, so uh, New Year's Eve tomorrow. So there's going to be a lot of people making plans for tomorrow. So I dare say it's going to be quiet. If it continues like this for the next half an hour, I'm going to knock up on the head. Uh, yeah. So where did we open? Have a look. Vertical line. So market opened officially about there. So 10 minutes we've had that, which is very, very low for the first 10 minutes of the open. You expect really, I dare say you'll have your open range breakout traders waiting for breakouts below here and here. So usually when, the market, I say the market opens, it opened last night, didn't it? 6 o'clock UK time. But, for general opening where most US traders. I mean, it's heavily traded by US traders, for obvious reasons. So usually 2:30 UK time, 9:30 Eastern time. That's when you get the majority of traders starting to trade. But it's just not much going on really. Is there? I'm looking at Bookmap, and there's only one area I can see really in this area where that's above 100 contracts. So for this time of day, it's pretty slow. So I expected it to be a little bit more than this. I mean, yesterday there was a reasonable amount of volume. It does help when you get some bigger moves. But even yesterday, market opened about here. We'd had quite a reasonable amount of movement, and then for the rest of the day, it wasn't actually that bad. Uh, I mean, it certainly wasn't quite a full day, but it wasn't far off. There was actually a few trades around yesterday as well, but I had a dentist appointment at 3:15, so I didn't get home till about 4. So I did look at the charts, but I looked at the charts for 30 minutes and I just didn't bother. But yeah, there was, I don't know, some of this, there's not really much you can do here. Maybe there wasn't a lot. I think that was a possibility, but that was about 11:45, 11:50. Was it about 12 midday? So you'd probably not been here for that, but that would certainly have been tempting. Apart from that, I can't see a great deal really. That one possibility. There's a second entry long failure there, but that bar isn't very good. But you've got to feel that if it breaks below there, it's probably going to come down. There's not much you can do here really. It's just sideways. So yeah, maybe there wasn't much actually. I suppose you'd expect it the time of year. Uh, there is a little bit more movement, mind you. This is a 500 tick chart, so it's probably looks a lot more than there really is. But there's not much you can do here either, really. I'm looking forward to trading this in the new year, where hopefully we get some setups. So we've got a break, two pushes to a new high, and then we are just. That's how I've got it anyway. Whether it's slightly different, it may be. I think it's irrelevant. We've clearly had a break of it. Two pushes to a new high. So we're really just kind of going up and down at the moment. So nothing I can really do here. As I say, I go for 10 ticks on here. So it's about there. So it's a little bit tight, this anyway, to trade. See what happens if we can get below this, the overnight lows here. Let me just clear this up a bit. We may get some movement. I was also aware that there could be something larger. It's a bit early, really. Yes, it's making lower lows, but the bottom is relatively consistent within this area. So until we get below here and retest the bottom, I wouldn't be thinking about channel down at the moment. Uh, so, as I say, the largest amount of orders I can see at the moment is down here at 42, 130 contracts. So whether it gets down here or not, who knows? But interesting to see if it does, where it goes from there. Laufey, how you doing, buddy? Mate, sorry I didn't see you there. So yeah, it's pretty much continuing its range, I think, isn't it? There is a higher low on this chart, but at the moment, with us getting lower lows, lower highs, I would be inclined to miss that. Ordinarily, it wouldn't be a terrible trade there, but the trouble is, it's still in the middle of all this chop, so you just never quite know where it's going to decide to stitch you. But looking upon here, there's 873 contracts at 955. Uh, so that's probably why this thing is getting sucked up so rapidly. There we go, straight to it. So those 800 odd orders were taken. I didn't look left, actually. Perhaps I should have done. If I'd have seen those orders up there strong, I may have had a go at that higher low. But I am still aware that we're getting every single one of these tops is lower than the previous one. So, you've got to kind of pay attention to that. Although we've had a break out of this stuff. But yeah, there was a huge amount of orders there, 800 odd orders. It's quite a lot of sellers there, especially on a day like this. I wouldn't expect to see that, but that was about six times the amount of contracts at one single price I've seen. So that's interesting. So, that looks all together for me. So 58.75. There's another 58.75. There's another 577 contracts there, and maybe a tick below it. So right in between this area here. So that's really interesting. That. Now we've had a break out of this this range. And as we know, a lot of times when we get a break out the bottom, we'll get one out the top. So I wouldn't be surprised this, pushes up to this level. 750, there's 100 contracts, and 875, there's 585, 580 odd contracts for sale. So they're all 750. So they're all, let's put that there. Right. So you'd expect that bar, if it triggers, which it has, to get stopped out. Not only that, we seem to be in a channel moving up anyway, so I wouldn't even entertain a short there. Now, sometimes they'll just work and it's completely irrelevant, but my gut feeling is that's likely to trigger, which it has, and push up. But you never know. You never know. If enough aggressive sellers like this area and aggressively sell, price will come down. But that's the beauty about seeing now. Ordinarily, without this, I wouldn't be seeing these orders here. And to be fair, there's over 600 contracts in this area to go short. That's a fair amount of contracts on a day like this. So you'd be really surprised for it not to hit that area. So on this chart, you may argue there's a break in a new high within one bar, but to be fair, it's irrelevant anyway. I think what's more important is these sellers in this area here, and we know these buyers and sellers, the larger they are, they act like magnets, and that's a fair sized magnet, to be honest with you. So I'll be shocked if that doesn't hit that. Okay, so we've made a matching high yet. See what happens. You could get aggressive sellers jumping in here. I've got to say, I didn't expect that. By the way that was pushing up, I thought it was going to pop straight into this area. It still may do. There's a bearish bar with a lower high there. Now, it may come back to this EMA. It depends. If there's a lot of sellers here, they may like this. My guess is, I couldn't entertain a short here with such a large amount of contracts in that area. But you never know. If enough sellers like this area, they may aggressively sell it. could argue there, depending how you draw that possible second entry long. I'm just sitting tight, let them get on with it. I haven't seen. I'm guessing uh, when that bar pushed down, I looked at these buyers and sellers up here, this imbalance, and I didn't see much in the way of selling. And I'm guessing the reason that pulled back like that is because there's probably some profit taking there. Now, if enough buyers cancel their trades, that they obviously sell their trade then. So that's going to, that's likely going to create a pullback in itself. But I didn't see aggressive sellers. So there's more profit taking there. So my guess is it's still more likely going to get in this area. And not only that, you've got a bear bar then in a lower high. So you're going to have, not only is there a lot of sellers in this area here, you're going to have a lot of stops as well. So if it gets above this, I think it'll push straight through these sell orders. But you never know. You just never know. Nothing's certain. But I guarantee you that will have attracted sellers there. I'm surprised I haven't seen some. So you've got sellers there. If sellers didn't take that, then they may have opted for the lower high. And at this area, you probably expect it. But that's a large amount of sell orders there. So that is going to create some strength, that is. So my guess is it's probably still going to push up. Once it gets above here, it'll hit that stop at the same time. And my guess is it'll push straight through this whole area. There we go. So that's taken stopped out. So it did exactly what I said, push straight through. So you can understand without having bookmap to look at why traders are short in this area. You can understand that one I wouldn't take. That one I absolutely get the fascination with taking a short there. But that's the beauty. If you don't have bookmap, you got no idea where other buyers or sellers are. None. But that's the beauty of having bookmap. I could clearly see there was a massive amount of sellers there, and I said exactly what happened. Once it pushes above this, it's going to push straight through that area there, and it did exactly that. So I'm not making this up. You can clearly see what bookmap is telling me. I can see what's happening, and I'm going to get it right way more times than I get it wrong, and that definitely adds in your favour. You're going to make better decisions. I'm just looking around to see if anybody's shorted there. Okay, so yeah, so Thomas Wade's put a second entry short there, but I don't think he took it. But you will have had sellers there, no doubt about it. You got kind of like a higher low there, depending on why you want to look at it, and it triggered and came down, broke below there, came back up. So you'd have bound to got sellers thinking there's a lower high there. Look, it's clearly bouncing in this area. So that will have dragged in some short traders there, but it came down, what, 3/4 of a point, if that, and then tailed up. And as soon as it hit that area, it pushed straight through. So it can definitely go a long way to saving you some losing trades. Job report in 3. Jobs report. I got no jobs report. What's going on here? I'm missing something. Unless it's low impact. Let's have a look. So you've seen the same thing as me. So we're Tuesday here. Jobs report low. Jobs report. I can't see jobs report. What am I missing here? This is low impact stuff. I don't even pay any attention to low impact. Medium I do. There's medium there, but that's not till tomorrow. We know we've got the high impact stuff, FOMC, but that's at 7 o'clock UK time, so that's irrelevant. So 3 o'clock. I've got absolutely nothing here at 3 o'clock, so I don't quite know why someone said job report in 3. Sean, how you doing, bud? Did you revert back to your YouTube set? Your chart still seems to be behind. Yeah, I haven't done. I've noticed that, mate. And I'll tell you why. If I drag my YouTube, see it says error, you need to change back your resolution. If I look at stream health, it's saying poor. I don't know why, because people can stream in 4K, but it's probably because I've got low latency. If I went to normal latency, that would go. But if I go down to 1080p, I can put ultra low latency, and there's a couple of seconds. So I will go back after this, mate. I didn't. I haven't done as of now. Obviously, we've had sort of Christmas and so on. But yeah, from at the end of today, I will. When I set my chart up for tomorrow, or go over my chart later, I will change it. I can't do it midstream for some reason. I've tried before. So, let me have a look. So we've got a channel there with a break, new high. So this is played out. Now, as we know, a lot of the times when we break out of a channel, it'll fail and we'll get one the opposite end, which is this. It's probably, in fact, I'll go as far as to take that a little bit further up there. That looks better. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 touches there. Much better there, I think. So we've had a breakout here, and we've had more or less the same size there. Now, one or two things will happen. It'll come back into this channel and continue, or it'll hold here and push out. My guess is, at the moment, I think there's more of a case for it to push out. If you look at Bookmap, around about 61.5, there's 500 orders. So if I put that line there, so 61.5, which is there. So there are sellers there. Now, if this thing comes back in and pushes up, my guess is those sellers will get absorbed, and then we may get a possible push up. But you never quite know. If we get enough sellers here, they may just decide to come down. But as we can see there, there's over 500 contracts there. So that is at least something we got to pay attention to. So there is a little bull bar there. So my guess is that's going to get stopped out, but that's just a guess. I wouldn't trade here. You never quite know. We could push up a little bit and then come down for a second leg. But at the moment, it's holding on that EMA. So there are there are buyers at 53.75 and 52.5. So it may come down there. So what were they? 53.75. So there are buyers there, which, fun enough, is one tick below that bull bar. You can't make this stuff up, can you? If you're going to buy there and you think this is going to go higher, you've got buyers there, which are probably premature. It's triggered. This may come down. If you want to continue this higher, it's not a bad place to buy around about below a lot this liquidity. Now, any buyers here, you wouldn't really see buyers there. There you probably would, because we're clearly having a bounce here. So it's not unheard of why you would have. It's not a surprise why you would think there may be buyers there, but I wouldn't entertain that. Mainly because I can see there's about 300 contracts within this area. So the second one down is around about 2.5. There we go. So it's done what I thought it would do. So if you've got a fair idea where price is going to go, it does make you make better decisions, whether it's getting into a trade, holding on to a trade, or where I find it most use, staying out of a trade. So if if there'd have been a second entry long there, and I'm thinking it's tempting to go long here, but if I see a lot of buyers below there, then that's a good idea maybe to leave the trade alone, because at the moment we don't really know what it's going to do. Is it going to come back into the range, or is it going to bounce and continue higher? But as I say, there are over 500 contracts at this now. It's a fair distance away in relative terms. So, you know what magnets are like. The further you get away from a magnet, the less pull they have. So maybe that's kind of how we look at this. So it's certainly having a go at getting back into this, but I would I would just kind of sit tight here. There is a possible second entry long there, but that may create a long failure. So there are orders now at 2.5, which is there, and a little bit lower, around about 51.25 and 50. So 51.25 and 50. So if that bar triggers the second entry long, my guess is it's going to come down uh, and 50. So there are quite a few orders here. In fact, around about 56.5 now, there are some sellers. 56.5, which is there. What's that telling me? My guess is if we don't trigger this long and come down, we may trigger it, push up, clear this out, and still come down. Uh, those orders up at 60, you can see here, have just been binned. So they've dropped dramatically. There was about 500 orders there. You can see most of them got yanked. And I think it's probably because this thing looks like it's going down some more. So it's hit that one area of liquidity. Let's take him out. There are two more. It does look like a leg and a leg. There are sellers trying to catch this move down here, but they're a little bit late to the party. I think you can see them there. In fact, it looks more like 57 actually, which is there. But they're a little bit late actually, so I wouldn't be surprised if those sellers get yanked as well. CL chart is just chopping. It's doing nothing. Nothing you can do with this. So the good thing is, I didn't used to be able to trade two charts at once. I've looked at this chart before, but I found out I was paying more attention to one chart. But as with a lot of things, the more you've been doing stuff, the more it's easy just to lend a quick eye from one chart. It's like driving, isn't it? When you first learn to drive, you got your head down, trying to look at what you're doing. And then when a lot of your driving then becomes second nature, you can look up and enjoy the view. So I can clearly look at this and know there's nothing I could do at the moment. So my best option is looking for a setup on the ES. But even this is quite low. We have a little bit more movement. We had this in about the first 20 minutes. And then when we dropped out, it picked up a little bit. So we may get something after all. Who knows? So let's just put that there. So bookmap. Sellers at 53.75. So there are sellers there. So if we come back to the EMA, there's sellers thinking this is possibly likely going lower. So still sellers there about 57. Maybe thinking if we come and test this area, we've pushed down. If we come up here and test this area, there are sellers interested in short in there. And there are some at 375, which is there. Now, if it came to this area here, I would be inclined to leave it because it's getting very close to those 470 odd orders. But this to me looks like it's just continuing down anyway. So. Okay, if anyone is interested, I don't know whether we did this. We've got this new Apex thing, which is something we had earlier, 90% off and $65 for the PAs. They've had some really good deals lately, Apex. but I'm up to my limit at the moment. I've got 20 on the go, so there's nothing I can do at the moment. And to be honest with you, uh, for 3 weeks now, I'd say probably 2 to 3 weeks, I haven't spent a penny. And that is what my New Year resolution is going to be, to try and not spend anything. Now, once I get these accounts up and start to earn some money from them, I will spend some more to maybe pick up some Traderify or Lucid accounts. But up until that time, I won't spend anything. So that's my New Year's resolution, to stop taking stupid risks on individual accounts and just trade them all together and grow them so I can get continuous payments. So don't forget to have yourself some kind of resolution, New Year's resolution, to change something. And for me, the most important thing that I want to change compared to the current year is the amount of money I've spent. I was watching a bit of a video from Nutty. I think it was yesterday or last night. Now, he'd made some good money this year, Nutty. Now, he will make a lot of money with affiliates. I don't doubt he's making 8,000 to 10,000 a month with affiliate. So he's got money to keep piling into it. But I think he'd sort of requested payments of 250,000, but he'd spent nearly 80,000 on buying accounts. Now, fortunately, he's able to do that from the sheer amount of affiliate money he's getting. So I think he's looking at the same thing. Now, you can really turn the tables by trading things properly and not revenge trading. You can really turn the tables in your favor. You know, it's not about how much you're getting paid. You know, that's irrelevant to a degree if you're spending it all on blowing accounts. So for me, this is going to be my best year, 2026. I'm in the best frame of mind I've ever had. I'm past all that silly stuff. I don't panic anymore. I make much better decisions. I'm finding trading kind of boring in a way, which is good because it becomes like a job. I used to turn up to the charts looking like, you know, feeling like I was turning up to a racetrack. My heart rate was up. I was excited. It was almost like I was getting ready to have a gamble or put some money in slot machines, that type of thing. That's how I used to approach the trading. I don't anymore. It's become like a normal job, which is good. So I don't have this. I think one of the other things that seems to take its time, I still seem to have that impulsiveness. But looking back over the last couple of 3 months, I haven't really had it. It's kind of that last piece of the puzzle, I think. And now I can focus on what I've learned and the type of mindset I'm in now to focus and do things in much more of a professional manner throughout 2026 and make it my best year. So I think it's certainly realistic that I hit six figures in 2026. There's no reason why I can't. Now, I don't tend to have monetary targets because you can only really take what gives you. But if you ask me what kind of growth and what kind of financial outlook I'd have for 2026, I think it's quite realistic to hit over $100,000 this year. So if I do, I will be over the moon. Accounts going to die at some point. Don't make drama about it if you're withdrawing good money. It is surprising, actually, how you can go from being completely out of. If I think back maybe a year ago, how I was operating was on a completely different level. I was taking massive risks. I was panicking. I was moving my stop all the time. And I had that doubt, am I ever going to have enough discipline? And how I feel now is worlds apart. So that's one of the most things I'm excited about for 2026 is how I feel inside. And it does seem to take forever, but I do get emails from other traders from time to time, or I get messages from traders, and that they've been trading 3 years and they can't understand why they're not making money and they're still making stupid, doing risky stuff. And it is surprising how long it takes. Uh, it shocked me how long it's taken. I mean, I told my wife after the first year I'll be earning $100,000 a year. After the second year, I said the same. Same with the third, fourth, and fifth. Uh, but fortunately, touch wood, I've got a supportive wife, and she's happy just to let me continue on how I've been doing, and she kind of sits in the background, and I don't get any aggro from her or grief from her. Uh, she kind of believes in me, and she's let me. But it must be difficult if people are losing lots of money trying to sort of convince their partners uh, that they can carry on. And I think that probably has a lot to do with, why traders give up. But fortunately, my wife's never said to me, I think you should give up. So I'm quite lucky in that sense. At the end of my second year, thankfully, my wife still believes in me. Uh, that Apex is the ticket to the promised land. It's important to have somebody to believe in you, because if you're the only one and everybody else is indicating that perhaps you should give up, that's got to be difficult on your mindset. Uh, I mean, I've been lucky that I've had affiliate money and it's ticked me over. So I've been lucky there. If that wouldn't have happened, my financial situation I don't doubt probably will have been a lot different. So don't look at me and think, why are you doing it and I'm not? I've been lucky. I've had that extra affiliate money coming in, and that has tied me over and enabled me to spend more time. So I'm very aware how fortunate I've been. Uh, I hate to think what my financial position would be like if I hadn't had that. I certainly don't think I'd have been trading full time. But fortunately, it's lasted. I've had it coming in, and it's now got me to a place where I feel, the only way I can describe how I feel trading at the moment is completely at peace. I'm not fighting or battling the market at the moment. I've accepted the way it is. Uh, and my skill level. In fact, I was going to make a video over the next couple of weeks. I'm trying to mess around with a little bit of AI, just trying to describe how I think I've got to my level, and how other people can, maybe somebody can use my experience to make them feel a little bit better about how they've been struggling, because you do get the sense that when you're learning, you're the only one it's happening to. You're doing worse than everyone else. You're spending more money, and it's simply not the case. Fortunately, because I do stream, I do get a fair amount of messages from other people, and I hear that same story day in, day out. So if you feel like it's just you, if you feel like you've got worse discipline than everyone else, you're wrong. You haven't. Everyone goes through the same thing. So don't beat yourself up. That's one of the hardest things I had to learn, was to forgive myself. I mean, I've told you this before. I've literally thumped myself in the face. I've been that frustrated with myself. I punched the monitor a few years ago, threw out the window. So, we've all been that stage where we're absolutely, completely frustrated and at a loss what the hell to do and how to get out of that complete lack of discipline and self-control. But I assure you, if you just keep doing it, you will chip away a little bit at a time. And all of a sudden, you'll get to a stage where you're thinking, I feel quite different. I'm not stressed anymore. I'm not panicking anymore. I know the answer. I know what I've got to do. Just turn up every day, wait for a setup and take it. And don't make it any more complicated than that. But getting to that level just seems like it takes forever. But that's the difference between, that small percentage that make money, not because you're not capable. Anyone's capable of this. You don't even really need an education. It's just looking at the charts and understanding what's going on. You could have no education, you could learn this. So don't think the reason you're struggling is because you've not got degrees coming out your back pocket. Could have been further from the truth. Just takes a long time. It's just the mental state, how to slowly adapt that. But eventually it does come. So if it's something you really want to do, find a way just to keep going. Uh, you can't sit here every day and expose yourself to these emotions and watch what the chart's doing and not improve. It's a physical impossibility. Some people make, I do hear someone said it took me 10 years to become consistent. But then when you hear they do maybe 2 hours a week, 3 hours a week, you kind of understand why. Uh, Amazing loads. I'm amazing. Thank you. You're a real person. And most importantly, you do it in real time. You are showing reality of trading. Uh, like Mackie comes. Yeah. Yeah. It's part of the main reason I started streaming was it was before I even had an affiliate. So, some people might say, oh, it's because of money. I didn't even know about affiliates then. Uh, it was my main reason for starting streaming is if I was being watched by traders, I would probably less likely do something stupid. And it actually worked quite well. I think you guys have only seen me melt down, have a complete meltdown, maybe 3 or 4 times, maybe 3 times. And when I say meltdown, I mean blow all my accounts. Don't get me wrong, I have blown all my accounts, but in my own time. But when I'm having people watching you naturally want to try and do a better job. If someone stops, whatever job you do at work, if someone stops and watches you kind of try and do a good job, don't you? It's just kind of the nature, isn't it? But I hope you've looked at me over these last 3 years I've been streaming and seen me make my mistakes and slowly change and, listen to how I talk about how I'm feeling and the mistakes I've made. And, it's definitely helped me having other people to talk to and being able to air my, problems day by day to you guys. So you've definitely helped me. And hopefully, if I've helped you, then it's kind of win-win for both of us. But I'm in a place now where I'm excited for the future because I feel like now's the time that I'm kind of start to shine because everything feels right for me at the moment. The patience, the discipline, the mindset, everything seems to be kind of working right. So touch wood, it continues. But I don't have that urge to revenge trade. When I lose a trade, I don't panic anymore. And it's only kind of really recently it's happened. But when it does, it's a nice feeling, and you think finally, my 5 years of hard work is now going to pay off this year. Uh, so it's I'm in a really nice place at the moment. So if any of you guys are struggling, just keep it in mind. The way you act towards the markets, towards trading, it's perfectly normal. It's how human beings act when we panic and we got money in the line. So don't beat yourself up. Uh, just kind of accept the fact that it's the way it is, and it's how we slowly improve. So, and as I've said before, if you are struggling or you're frustrated, you can always message me, uh, and I'll have a chat with you. I'm always happy to talk shop. Uh, I've had plenty of messages from people when I've had a bad day, plenty of messages, and it really does give you a lift when you know other people have it. And it's surprising how a little pep talk from a mate makes you doesn't half make you feel better. Okay, moving stops at the time. I had a message from a guy called Jeff. I can't remember whether I saved it. It was early part of the year. Let me have a look. His name was Jeff. He was a trader. He said, first of all, I'm going to say, and I thought, what's coming? He said, first of all, I'll say I am a fan of yours. I think you're a nice guy and blah, blah, blah. He said, but I've seen you nearly every trade moving your stop 2 ticks, 3 ticks, 5 ticks. And then when the market turns in your favor, you're getting out for break even. So you're extending your risk. And as soon as you get to break even, you've actually gone through that extra risk, and now you're not getting anything from it. So at that point, I can't remember his name now. It was Jeff. Someone at that point, straight away, I stopped moving my stop. I just thought, I know it's wrong, but it started to become part of my daily. I think it was around about March, something like that. Uh, and from then on, I stopped moving my stop, and then I think, was it June, May, or June? I'd had some good payments, and all of a sudden, my bank. I got about £20,000 in my bank. That was nice and healthy. I'd had a bad day or a bad week. I'd lost a couple of trades in a row, and I just moved my stop once. And I remember Karina was giving me a load of grief. Rodian, how you doing, buddy? Karina was giving me a load of grief. She was actually telling me to stop it and cancel the trades as the thing was moving. It was getting closer and closer to blowing it. And Karina was giving me more and more grief, saying, "You got to stop it, stop it." And I never listened. The trouble is, once you go so far, it's very hard to come back, and it's kind of all or nothing. Then you're literally in the lap of the gods. And unfortunately for me, and probably a good thing, I had a quick awakening. I got a severe slap on the wrist, and I had a reminder that just because you've made money for the first 5 months doesn't mean you can start taking stupid risks and moving stops. You have to. I did look at this second entry short here, but at the moment, because we've had a matching breakout, this may go back into this channel here. So although there is technically a second entry short, this to me looks like it may be a bottoming pattern. So I'm just leaving it at the moment. But yeah, Karina was telling me, she must have told me half a dozen times as the price was coming more and more towards me, and then they ended up losing the account. And I think that was in May, June. And then for the next 2 months, I was getting accounts blowing them. I was just frustrated with myself. And I think sometimes, 1 minute you can start to make money and you start to feel maybe a bit invincible. You get a bit too confident. The more money you've got in the bank, the more, I suppose, you trade with a kind of more relaxed attitude. But you could be the best, richest trader in the world. The market is not going to give you easy stuff. Just the market doesn't care who you are. It's going to treat you the same as it treats everyone else, with contempt, and try to get your money from you. So you've got to be as good on day one as you are on day 10,000. Nothing's going to change. So for 2 months, I was buying accounts, blowing them, and I was literally chucking them away day by day, until I hit a point of just exhaustion where I just thought, I can't do it. And then I got myself 5 PA accounts, 5 TraderFi accounts, and I traded things the right way. And it took about 2.5 months slowly, but then I took 8,000 out of TraderFi. I took $9,500 out of Apex, and I'd made $18,500. It took me 2.5 months because I had to work up from zero, but that taught me something, that I can trade and make money. What I need to do now is think more long term and grow an account so I can make consistent money, and I don't have that pressure every single day. If I can get my account up, the plan was to get it up to about 7,500 and still trade one contract, and the risk would be about 2%, which is a really sensible risk. And then hopefully I can make consistent money every month, and I don't have to worry about blowing accounts. But it does take time. You start to make a bit of money, then you lose it, and then you make a bit more, then you lose it, and then you start to twig there. You start to think, actually, I'm doing this. I can do it now, and you get that little bit of confidence and self-belief. And that's the time for me when you start to slowly go like that. That's why I'm kind of so excited for this, the 2026. It's going to be the best year for me. I fully believe that, which I think it's important to, have that belief. It's very hard to have self-belief when you've blown 1,300 odd evaluations. so much failure, it's very hard to think you can really do it. You know, most other jobs, you make a mistake 2 or 3 times and you learn, but trading is kind of a whole different animal. Brant, how you doing, bud? I didn't see you, mate. After break, new load, expect that to fail, potentially move back into the range. Yeah, that's kind of why I left this. You've got a channel there, possibly a break. I mean, if this isn't a break, this probably is. And a bounce, then a higher low, and it went up. So yeah, a higher low. Sometimes you'll get a second entry short, which will turn into a failure and it push back in. But sometimes you just never know. It did work that one, but for me, it's not really something you would probably look at that like that. Actually, really. In which case, we're kind of still in that channel. So the volume's really low. It's not doing a great deal. So who knows? That beautiful second entry short. You see, I didn't like it. Uh, did many people take it? Yeah, see, Thomas Wade's looking at the same thing as me. We got a channel to break a new low, and this for me is a little micro channel up. And look where that bearish bar is, right in that micro channel. You don't know it's going to do that, but you have to expect there's a possibility we get a second entry short which triggers and pushes up in a larger channel. There's a couple of reasons why I wouldn't take this. One, the channel is played out, so you have to give it a little bit of space. Two, we've had a breakout at the top of the range, a breakout at the bottom of the range, so there's no reason to suspect that it wouldn't push back in. So for me, I didn't like it. It's too uncertain, I think, for me. Now, as a second entry short, you may say the trade looks okay, but for me, it was more about context. Having said that, the setup really is still within a little micro channel, so there's another reason why I wouldn't take it. So the setup wasn't brilliant, but for me, it was more about the concept. Now, I understand context. Now, I understand we've had a couple of bounces here, but we've had a bounce, a new low, another attempt at testing the lows, followed by quite a strong looking bull bar, bull bar higher low. So for me at the moment, my thought process is more likely going to push in, but you never really know. So CL's just doing nothing really. There's nothing you could do with this. Just chopping around in a very tight. Now I go for 10 ticks here, so well, it's got to push to 11. So there's nothing much you can do really when you're going for an area like that. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Who knows? Could go up, could go down. So I'm looking at it, but I don't need to pay too much attention. Took that higher low, did you? It went enough, didn't it? Yeah, see, it's a tough one. How far did it go? So it wouldn't have worked for me. Yeah, so I think pretty much now I don't count so much. Is it the second entry? Is it this? It's less important, I think, when you get a bit more experience. I think you can just look at something and go, that's how I tend to trade now. I look at something. If it looks right, I take it. If there's something that doesn't look right about it, I leave it. And it works well for me. So, you hear Mac talking about, someone told me, I think it was Vlad, he said Mac doesn't even draw channels anymore. He just does it for our benefits. And I kind of get that. I still do it because I don't think it's a bad exercise to get into. But I understand why he doesn't. You can clearly see this is moving down. Then we have a break and a new low. So I don't think it's as important when you get more experience. But I consider myself on the intermediate level. I'm not an experienced, consistent trader as of yet. But I'm not a beginner. So I'm more intermediate now. I can make money, but obviously as I continue year after year. It's power of the matrix. Exactly, yeah. So I do it because I don't think it's a bad exercise to get into, because sometimes, we can have a small break, but I don't think it's bad practice to continue to do it. At least gives you something to do when you're sat at the charts, doesn't it? Uh, but I think it's a good policy to never get too big for your boots. That's what we say in the UK. In other words, too confident, too cocky, uh, and think you don't need certain things. I think it's always important to keep your roots and keep the basics. That works down there quite nice, doesn't it? We clearly got a small break here in a new low. So yeah, it's good to keep remembering the basics. How long have we been going for now? Just over an hour. I get 5 or 6 winners in a row. I think I have everything figured out. Yeah, it is. It's weird, isn't it? It's amazing how when you get, like you say, 5 or 6 winners in a row, the world feels perfect, doesn't it? And then all of a sudden you get a couple of losses. You get one loss and you're kind of okay. And you get a second loss, and all of a sudden, those little doubts pop into your head, which for me is why I think it's good practice for me personally. One loss and I'm done for the day. I never get into that zone where I start getting a bit frustrated, or I may take a riskier trade. So for me, at the end of the day, we don't see a lot of great setups anyway. I was talking to that Vladdy a couple of weeks ago. He trades one trade a day maximum, and he doesn't find one a day on the ES, which is why he trades the CL. And that makes perfect sense to me. I don't see a lot of setups. So one loss in a day, you're probably not going to get another trade anyway. So I don't think it's bad policy to get away from the charts and cool off. A lot of spoofing going on today, yeah. Whether these are anything to do with it. I know sometimes you get these blocks, price will get close to it and they'll just get yanked. It does happen, not a huge amount, but you do notice it from time to time. Uh, it's definitely volume's definitely lower. All this was is the 230. I just wanted to have an idea of how much price action we were having, just to see whether it was worth continuing for the day. CL's an absolute waste of time at the moment. I am going to change the resolution so you're not so far behind. I'll do that straight after the stream. Yeah. So Marco, looking at this here, was looking for the fail second entry short there. That's why I didn't take the short. We got a second entry short. I thought that may likely trigger and then push up into the range. So that's why I didn't take that second entry short. I know a couple of people on the forum said second entry short. They were waiting for the lower high. This to me is more than likely going to fail, which is why I didn't take that as a second entry short. One reason it seems to be in that channel anyway. Two, channels played out. As we know, a lot of times these breakouts fail. We still got a breakout from this level here, so that could quite easily fail. So, but Marco just making a comment there. He was waiting for the fail second entry short, which is that the second entry short triggering and then pushing up above this. If that had pushed down here and sat nice and bullish, nice bullish pin bar sat above that line, that would have been nice to take there. But it actually came down. Sometimes it's irrelevant anyway. Sometimes it'll just do it. Could be the worst setup in the world and it'll work. But I'm not saying that was, but for me, I wouldn't have taken the short there, uh, especially after we've had this and then a higher low here. I thought it was there. Very large orders. Yeah, you can. There are up here, aren't they? Mind you, I did have my eye on when we had this here. We had that lower high there, and you could see there was some orders there. There was about 500 contracts. I had my eye on that. I had one eye here and one eye on there. But it did it. Once it got up here, they yank them a bit early. They don't leave them to the last minute if they plan on getting rid of them because the market's going to have a quick move. But once price got to here, I was quite confident that was going to push straight through, and it did. But yeah, sometimes they stick these orders on here to suck price towards them for whatever reasons, and then they drop the orders. Trouble is, if you've got big pockets and you can stick 1,000 contracts here, and you may want, if you take a long gear or something and you put a bunch of shorts here, there's a good chance that might help your long position. So for whatever reasons they do it, I don't know too much about the mechanics of, how a lot of traders or institutions or just bigger pockets work. That's the one downside to being a retail trader. You're not kind of in the know, are you? But I do see it happen from time to time. I am aware of it. I mean, whether that was going to get yanked anymore, the fact that they were there was a reason why I wouldn't even consider this bearish bar or the lower high. Sometimes if we have a bearish bar and then a lower high, that's sometimes a good option to go short. But we'd had a channel up there with a break anyway, so a lot of the times you'd expect it to push above there anyway. So having that in mind and having the big sell orders above these two stops was a good enough reason for me to not. I wouldn't have entertained that anyway, but it does just sort of give you that confidence why you do certain things, but it does make you understand the charts and how price moves much better looking at Bookmap. It's certainly been a blessing in disguise for me. So we have got a large amount of orders up above here, around about 50, 51. Just above 50, there's 509 orders around about, let's say about there. But is this pushing down now? It could do. We've got yesterday's lows about 5 points away. So it may come down to here. Who knows? Who knows? Elite Trader. Are you a new face? I think you might be. How you doing, buddy? May get a pop at 6936 down here. Assuming yesterday's lows, yeah. So that, yeah, right at the lows. Yeah, I am aware we may get a second leg down to this level. It's not much of a pullback. In fact, I'd like to see it maybe test this area again before it pushes down. That's if it does, of course. Who knows? Can't see a huge amount of orders down here at the moment, but we'll see. It's still quite steep for me, this. I wouldn't be surprised if it tests this area again first. Whether we end up getting something like that. It's possible. Like a spike in a channel, depending on how you draw it, where it comes from. Interesting to see what happens back up here first. So there may be something like that. It's a bit too premature, I think, at the moment. But the CL chart, nothing. It's just chopping. Where did the market open? So it was around about here. So yeah, we've just had no volume at all. In the last, we've had that in the last hour and 45 minutes. So there's nothing. Oh, I hate it when that happens. Why does it do that? Bloody annoys me, that does. Maximize. Trouble is, I can't move. Oh, I can. There we go. Yeah, there'll be no trays on that today. I don't doubt it. Okay, excuse me just a sec. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. I'll be 1 minute. Definitely low volume today. No argument there. Going to call it there. Yeah, good on you, mate. I'm going to shortly as well. There's not a lot happening really, to be fair. It's kind of slow, isn't it? We've had this, haven't we, in the last hour and a quarter. So I've got a nice leg of lamb, which I've got to pop in the oven soon. So I may call it a day myself, actually. I will come on the stream tomorrow just to say me Happy New Year's. We'll see what it's like, even if we come and have a chat for half an hour or something. So I'm going to leave it there, folks. It's not worth trading today. There's nothing you can do here. We're up and down. It's a bit choppy. It's very slow, as you'd probably expect. So I'm going to leave it there. So I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow. Yeah. I'll be back tomorrow. Love you too, Karina. I'll be back tomorrow and we'll have a look. We'll see what it's like. Failing that, we'll get off for the new year. We'll enjoy a new year, and then we'll start back on. We'll start back, and hopefully we'll have a good 2026. Yeah, you take it easy, Richard. So I'll leave you guys tomorrow. If you carry on trading, best of luck. I hope something happens for you, but I'm going to go and stick my leg of lamb in the oven, and I might pour myself a nice single malt. So you take care. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Stay safe, and we'll catch up again tomorrow. Bye.